What is it with you? What do you got, a death wish or something?
That's what it takes. I just want to race.
What's up, Diesel heads, and welcome to episode 12 of the Chronicles of Diesel, the only place you can get a one-stop shop of everything Diesel. My name is Ethan, and with me, as always, is Devin.
They're not boobs.
Fun fact about that line. No, I'm kidding. But
yeah, it was improvised.
Yes, today we are going to be talking about the 2005 movie The Pacifier, starring, obviously, Vin Diesel. Because as you know, on the Chronicles of Diesel, we go through Vin Diesel's entire filmography, gameography, discography, everything Diesel, first of every month, in chronological order. We finally hit one full year. April 1st was our first episode back in 2020, and we're now doing one this month. This is our episode 12. We've done this for 1 year. It feels like we just started because scrolling down the spreadsheet we got a few more years to go.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait. It's gonna be like, before we know it, you're gonna say, "Hey, it's been 2 years," and I'll be like, "What?" It's gonna be crazy.
And this has been a very interesting, obviously, year because of COVID and all that. But like, we've had more time to sit back and watch old movies, play old games, all this kind of stuff. So to me, a project like this type of podcast is like a very interesting thing that, like, I don't want to say it can only happen at a time like this, but it's easier for people to do these kinds of projects. Which is why I say this has been a huge success for me. I've found way more different aspects about Vin Diesel, and I've seen a lot more movies and played Xbox games.
Exactly. No, yeah, I agree. It's just, I never would have thought, like, even a year, 2 years ago, maybe a year and a half ago, that like I'd be watching every Vin Diesel movie from the beginning of his career to the end, and we've already experienced so much. We're already seeing like a storyline take place of the Vin Diesel arc, and it is amazing. And we're only like on the cusp. Like, we're only at the top of the jelly jar. All right, we have to go down the bottom and get those strawberries. All right, we have to go down there and really get into it. So I'm excited to see where this goes.
Yeah, what started as a joke idea because we watched together personally Fast and the Furious movies for the first time, marathoned them all, be like, what if we did this for all of the Vin Diesel movies as like a joke? And yeah, this has been real fun. So I'm very happy we had our full 1 year. Let's continue this episode, and we have many more years to go. I'm very happy about this. So, as always, on the Chronicles of Diesel, before we go back into the past to talk about something Vin Diesel has done, we go back just a month and talk about what Vin Diesel has been doing recently. So this is Devin's part of the show. He gives us the Vin Diesel News Network,
VNN.
News Hour, all that jazz. I had more things I could have said about it, but you know what? Time is of the essence. What has Vin Diesel been doing?
Well, so last couple months, like last 4 or 5 months, like the fall to winter period, Vin Diesel's been like all in the news, right? We had Arc 2, we had music, we had F9 stuff, and I will say that out of all the months we've done this is the least amount of news I've seen. And also, most of my news I get from his Instagram, because that's the closest source to him, right? Like, if he's posting something, I trust him over what maybe let's see, what a Cinema Blend is saying about Vin Diesel, right? Maybe here and there I find a commercial that he's done for an electric scooter or something, but yeah, there wasn't too much. There wasn't too much this month, especially on Instagram. So in the past, he usually has like an average of like 8 posts. This month, if you don't include January, because I know we recorded like in the last week of January, but there was a one post I do want to talk about that happened like a couple days after we recorded. Okay. But if you don't include January, he's only done 3.
Wow.
3 posts. So it's very he's been very quiet. So maybe it means good things though, because it could mean he's working on.
Yeah, he's on the grind.
He's working on Arc 2 or whatever. But I do want to quickly go through them. The first one was on January, was it 29th? Yeah, January 29th. And he said, we are ... group, hashtag alpha group, which I know we've talked about in the past. And James Gunn was asked about it, like, what does alpha group mean?
That's
and
right.
He doesn't know what that means. So it's something that Vin Diesel has made. But it's a picture of him in the cast of, I believe it's the next Thor movie, because I see Jeff Goldblum. Actually, this could have been, I guess, technically the cast for... never mind. I think this is just the Avengers and stuff, because I see Stan Lee's here. Never mind. I just saw Stan Lee. He dead. So this must be an old photo, but maybe it's just him maybe just hyping up people who are into his Groot character. So there's that. Then during the Super Bowl, which happened on February, was it 2nd there or 7th? A trailer did drop during the Super Bowl for F9, and he also posted that trailer on Instagram. I'd highly recommend watching it. Showed some new stuff we haven't seen before. Looks like the stunts are just going to be as insane as they are the last couple of movies. So, which is one of the main reasons I love the series now. Is just they make it so over the top. Like there's one point there's a car that like goes through the side of a building, but like on its side, it's like pulled through the building, like through like a mom and pop shop. I don't know, but it just looks ridiculous. But he did write a message of family always. Hashtag F9. Hashtag fatherhood. Hashtag the Fast Saga. So get hyped for that. And then he did a picture of him and Paul Walker, and he says, this is a week ago, and he says, the next chapter may be the best, but the weight, the reflections of true brotherhood will burden the soul in ways one can't explain. Here's the one who we now lost, and yet find a smile to meet the blessed day. All love always. So he does post about Paul Walker at least once a month, and I think he really misses him. I don't blame him. I mean, when your best bud that you do a huge film series with passes away, unfortunately, you probably don't know what to do, and posts every month on Instagram. It's usually like fan art people make of them too. So then
that's right. He likes to not credit people's fan art of him and post it as if he did.
Yeah, Vin, come on, get on that, dude. Come on. We always credit you, Vin. All right, we always credit you in this show. Now do the opposite. All right. His last post as of this recording, which was February 13th, so still like a week and a half ago. Yeah. I'm guessing maybe his kid is on a horse. It's blurred in the back, but it's him like looking at the camera. And it just says proud father, all love. So that's all we have. But if you're looking at his follower count, which I like to do because that's exciting, we're on our way to 69 million. That's always we can't wait for that. I think we're going to get it next month. I think I can
really
VNN special right now, 60-minute special. I'm going to tell you that we're going to hit 69 million next month. You can guarantee it unless something crazy happens where his Instagram's deleted or something. But
he's hacked.
He's hacked. But when I first started tracking this, he was at 65.9 followers, and that was 5 months ago. He's at 68.7 now. He is so close. He only went up 0.4 in the last month, but to be fair, he only posted 3 times. I think if he puts more content out there, he'll get more followers. I think that's the easiest way to do it.
Can I make a confession?
Yes.
I don't follow him on Instagram.
Well, you better. You need to make that part of the goal. All right, we're trying to get to 69 million.
Problem.
Everyone who's listening to this, if you aren't following videos on Instagram, we're trying to get him to 69 million. So follow and subscribe or whatever on Instagram.
See, and then once we reach 69 million, the goal is to keep him at 69 million.
Keep unfollowing and refollowing.
Exactly.
So yeah, I think he'll hit 69, and then I don't know. By the time we end this show, I hope that he's at 100 mil. I think I said that last week or last month, but I don't know. It'd be tough because he's only gone up 3 million in the last 5 months. But if we're doing this for the next 3 years, maybe you're talking
The last
75?
episode I have marked down is June of 2023. So maybe.
But I'm thinking with Fast 9, that will like get a huge boost.
Yeah.
But I always think it's crazy. Like there's 350 million people in America. And he, like, granted, I know not everyone who's following him is from America, but just like if you just took it from that, you know, he's almost at almost at 1/3, which is insane. Of how many, it's an insane amount of following, 68.7 million, just crazy to me. But yeah, that's pretty much it for VNN. I looked up news on Google, and there's nothing too crazy. It's just new images of F9, but other than that. That's it.
Okay. All right, so then let's begin our main topic for the show today. The 2005 movie The Pacifier, a Walt Disney Pictures
production.
Was
not expecting that at all.
Yeah,
when that popped up, I'm like, this changes my expectations. Changed my expectations going in, too.
Yeah, 2005, a nice, cool hour and a half.
Oh, so now, thank God, by the way. Like, whether or not the movie was bad, I was just like, an hour and a half, I'm like, oh boy, I can fit this in anywhere.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
We spent 10 hours playing an Xbox game last time. This is easy. This is easy. Now, director of this movie was Adam Shankman, who has made other Disney movies just like this. One notable one that stuck out to me, and I don't think it was Disney, but the movie Hairspray was him. He was the director on that. That's cool. He also did Cheaper by the Dozen 2, not the first one, but the second one. I'm going to tell, okay, so the budget of this film was high, in my opinion, but what do I know? $56 million was the budget. How much money did you think this movie made in its worldwide total box office?
Worldwide.
Total. Everything.
110.
199 million. Just under 200 million.
Damn, the Vin Diesel factor, dude. I keep underestimating him.
It's insane. But yeah, no. I don't have a whole lot of fun facts about this movie. So I'll just give like a couple main ones right now. Basically the two biggest ones. Vin Diesel was not the first person that was supposed to be in this movie. He was not attached to this movie. Do you know who was? I'm going to give you a hint. This person has done lots of physical comedies, action-y, funny movies, and he is in dozens and dozens of them.
Will Ferrell?
No. Jackie Chan.
Oh, that was not where my brain was going. I was going
physical comedy.
I was like 2005. I'm like, maybe, like, I don't know, like maybe he would do a kid-friendly version of Step Brothers. I don't know.
Jackie Chan was attached. He was in this movie. He was a part of it. I don't know what made him leave.
I can totally see that now.
But yeah, he was supposed. I mean, this reminds me of like The Tuxedo or any of the other like. You know, or fucking Rush Hour, you know what I mean? Like, he's a funny guy. He is one of the richest people on the fucking planet. He owns more businesses than anyone else on the planet. Jackie Chan. And bits of the production got completely swapped out when he left, including the writing staff. They got swapped out as well. Some elements still stayed. Obviously, the main plot still stayed. But certain elements of the movie, I think it might be more obvious as to be like, oh yeah, this probably had a bigger part in the Jackie Chan version of this movie in an alternate universe because it was a bigger deal to them. So he left for whatever reason, and then they start thinking about other actors they want to put in this, and then they approached one by one, etc. Now I don't know if they approached this gentleman for this role. But this was a person that they considered for the role, is The Rock, which makes sense. Yeah. They considered The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, to play this character. I'm not sure if the character was always Lieutenant Shane Wolf or what, because Shane Wolf is a weird name to give Jackie Chan, but who knows, right? He whatever the character is. He was one of them, but yeah, so think about that for a second now. This Disney movie, live action, comedy, this is not the type of movie that happens anymore from Disney, right? Maybe now on Disney Plus, but I remember it was like right after this period, there was, movies like, Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time, which is not a Disney property, but like a live action Disney movie, and they're doing all this stuff. And my favorite live action Disney movie, 2010's Tron Legacy, came out. It did well, not well enough, and Disney decided we're not going to do any more live action movies unless it's Pirates of the Caribbean, because they still make money. And so now they're coming back around. So that's why it's crazy to be like, oh yeah, this is a Disney movie.
Yeah, when I saw it, I was like, I never would have guessed that. Like, just on maybe not the title, but just like what people have told me about this, or like when people are like, oh yeah, I'm watching the Pacifier today. They're like, oh, like, oh yeah, they never mentioned to me Disney, or like that never come up, and that's usually like something that would come up if I said, oh, I'm watching Pirates of the Caribbean. Like, oh yeah, that's a great Disney movie. You know what I mean? Like no one's saying that about the Pacifier, so it is crazy to think that this is
weird,
even
right?
A Disney film. But definitely when going in, I mentioned it earlier that it actually was going in. I was like, okay, this is going to be like a family comedy, but not a Disney family comedy where I thought there was going to be certain humor in this. And as soon as Walt Disney popped up, I'm like, okay, this changes everything.
Yeah.
Going into this,
yeah.
And I'm like, I have to change my expectations. I have to change what kind of jokes are going to be said, and also like, what is Vin going to do? Because we never, up to this point, Vin's been in either like super serious roles or like action spy thrillers. Yeah. So I was like, okay, this changes everything. So
Well, give me your overall thoughts before we jump into the recap of this movie. What did you think?
I know a lot of people. I've only heard mostly bad things about this film. Like people are like, I mean, I did hear like maybe, oh, it's all right, like for kids, right, or whatnot. But overall, like I've always like when people are like, oh, the Pacifier, that's one of Vin Diesel's stinkers, and so I guess I had kind of low expectations going in. But then once the Walt Disney thing came out, I'm like, okay, like I just have to go in this with the mindset like this is probably going to be made for kids / families who are just taking their kids with them to the movie theaters. And I have to remember that when I'm watching this movie. And like, I would say the first half I didn't enjoy, but I actually kind of had fun with the second half and thought it was classic early 2000s family comedy movies. And and I thought Vin Diesel was funny at parts. And I guess I wasn't necessarily disappointed or whatnot. If anything, I was kind of like mildly surprised, not like shocked and blown away, but like I'm like, oh, I don't think this is as bad as maybe people have said. Personally,
all I know about this movie going in was that like, oh yeah, Vin Diesel's in it, and I guess it's bad. That's really all I knew. But yeah, after seeing this movie, to me, this is more of like this is something you would throw on, maybe not necessarily on Christmas morning, but you'd have it on when there's a family gathering and you're not supposed to be paying attention to the television.
Or you're babysitting some kids and like,
yeah,
there's some jokes there where it's like, oh look, that's what I have to do. I'm Vin Diesel here, and you're the annoying kids. Don't be like them.
So yeah, something that is like an outrageous. Kids don't actually act like this, so therefore kids watching this can see a disconnect between their reality and them, right? So like, if this movie had realistic children, it wouldn't necessarily be funny to kids, because it'd be like, I do that though. I can't play video games. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? So
yeah.
But let's begin. I was pleasantly surprised too. I'll put it out there. So the movie opens up and Walt Disney Pictures presents Vin Diesel.
Hell yeah.
Insane. We open with Shane Wolf, and his men just arriving on a beach decked out in Navy SEALs uniforms. And Wolf informs the audience and his men that they're after Howard Plummer, who's been taken hostage. The team gets briefed and gears up.
And a cool montage there where like they're like the classic, the classic. Yeah. I think they did that in Batman too, one of the Batman 90s Batman films.
I can't. This is the first part of this movie where I'm like, all right, I can't be too critical about exposition and how it's being handled and stuff like that, because this is meant for 8-year-olds and their parents, and this isn't really like a big deal of a film. Like, it does not make sense for Shane Wolf to be briefing his men in the manner he's doing at this stage in the game. You know what I mean? Like, it's as if they're just realizing what they're here for, right? That's not how that works. But they're telling the audience that, right?
They were told weeks ago before.
Exactly.
Like, hey, go tell your family or you might not come home because we have to stop this hostage situation.
Exactly.
Wherever this was. I don't remember where it was.
But that's why I had to check some of this at the door. Like, I can't...
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Yes, this is a criticism, and it's worth having, but the weight and gravity of some of this type of stuff, you can't really... It's not necessarily unfair to have it, so... But moving on. Anyway, the raid on the pirates begins, and the team boards the boat. Wolf, who doesn't know where the prisoner is being held, throws bombs all over the deck.
Throw some mines, I think. Yeah.
I
will say, for a Disney movie, it starts off with like death and explosions and like the hostage situation alone. I think is like oh, this is a little risque for Disney here. Hostage situation,
but I think it's necessary because it opens up. Yes, he is a Navy SEAL. He
also kills 3 people in that blast. By the way, I counted. There's at least 3 people on board on the deck. So there's some war crimes for.
They cut a helicopter in half.
That was also cool, but also once again, another probably like 3 or 4 people dead.
But they just need to show that he's the tough, serious guy.
And then I also had to remember this is 2005.
Yeah,
where we love. Patriotism, all right? We're like, this is awesome.
Oh god, yes. Wolf Fast and Furious Tokyo drifts around on a jet ski, killing people. They board the ship completely. They get their man, and they begin to take him home. Howard Plumber is the guy, and he wants to call his wife. And Wolf is shot after trying to talk to the pilot, who's dead. And then it's assumed that Howard Plumber is also dead here too. Like. Again, Disney movie, we need to get to the point where he's babysitting, you know what I mean? So I get it. But it was a bit unclear, was he shot? Or was there one gunshot? Was there two?
He was put in a coma, so
whatever.
he must have been shot pretty bad.
But it was 2 months, I think?
Yeah. And he was like, yeah, I'm good. He got up fine. He's like, oh, I'm good. Like, what? I think you need, at least another month of recovery. Like, can you walk? I don't... There's a lot of, implications, I feel like.
He has his shirt off later in the movie. Where's the bullet hole? Who cares?
Who cares? Doesn't matter.
Right?
He heals.
He's Vin Diesel.
He heals real fast. No scars.
2 months later, Wolf is discharged from the hospital stay. And we learn that Howard Plumber there, from earlier, is dead. And he made a program that could disable nukes. And that's somehow a bad thing. That he had a way of disabling an entire country's nukes.
I think what they're trying to say is that, if they did that, if it got into the wrong hands, Russia, they could, get rid of America's
disable
nukes.
Our nukes.
Yeah, and then they nuke us, which, once again, wouldn't happen because there's multiple countries with nukes.
We have our nukes all over the world.
We also
anyway.
have even if we nuked us, we have the biggest, baddest military industrial complex in multiple locations on the planet. We could take you out so quick. Russia, bet. That's at this time in 2005. That's the energy we have. So I get the whole nuke thing, but it's whatever. Once again, this is a throwaway plot.
This is we're on the 4-year anniversary of 9/11. Bush is still president. He just got reelected this year. He came
and everyone
re-inauguration this year.
And won by a landslide. Let's not forget. So no one's gonna question the nuke aspect and the implications of it. But once again, it's a throwaway thing just so they can get him to the house.
It needs to sound serious. He needs to sound like he's an important badass.
Because he
so
won't
they can
be,
make fun
but
of
he
it.
is for this family.
Wolf gets entrusted with a very special mission and begins to prep for it. His mission, in classic comedic fashion, is to babysit some kids. Essentially, the mother, Julie, is helping the government open/get to some safety deposit box that may have the anti-nuke program in it. And Wolf's job is to also check the house to see if it was hidden there instead. All while babysitting. Because the government can't take your children somewhere safe so that they can't be taken hostage.
Put them in the goddamn Pentagon or something. or an underground bunker.
But I get it. It's supposed to be a comedy, right?
Yeah, don't take it
You're
too
supposed
seriously.
to just forget this part so that you can get to the point where he's having to figure out how to change a diaper.
I also
get
just
it.
realized too, back to the whole War on Terror 2005 thing, is that the fact that this is such a military life family movie as well. How many mothers or I guess it could be fathers too, but a majority mothers or whatnot taking their kids to this and our dad is doing badass stuff and but he also can do be a babysitter and be a cool dad, there's a lot of that kind of energy too where it was not saying there's anything wrong with it necessarily, but just romanticizing the family, the military life of, and there's that kind of energy going on, I just found that very interesting considering the time that this movie came out. That it's yeah, this is all right. Yes, we have Navy SEALs, we have Marines. They're out there, dude. They're out there, and look what they do. But look, now he has to do this. How disrespectful. I don't know. I find it so interesting considering the time period of when this came out.
So yeah, honey, just think about how cool your dad is being a dad too. Next time he wakes up in the middle of the night as a nightmare thinking that he's being murdered and he accidentally chokes me out in bed because that happens to military folk.
Yes, yeah. Or the vice versa, where you have dreams of killing people because you have extreme PTSD, or you can't go to 4th of July fireworks anymore. But yeah. Sure.
It's okay. Your father just crushed my windpipe a little bit by accident. He thought I was an Iraqi.
Oh my god.
Wolf meets Julie at the door and all the kids, and it's just classic. Just classic.
The Brady Bunch. Man.
There's even a Romanian nanny. Then why is he there? Maybe she can just take the kids.
But what's funny is I recognized her immediately. She is one of the Jewish hunters in the show Hunters, where they hunt the Nazis, and I immediately recognized her. I'm like, her. Well, she was only in it for half the film, and then she's in at the end for some reason. I don't know, but
she was in at the end.
Yeah, she's in the play. She's in there clapping with them, and I'm like, girl, you ran away from your job. Quit. Why? You're not part of that. You're a nanny. You're not I
hate his character so much, except for one part. So yeah, so they have a Romanian nanny, and you can tell she's Romanian, maybe because the subtitles told me that she's speaking in Romanian.
Oh boy,
that's how I could tell. But also get it? She's dressed kind of slobbishly, and she's kind of ugly, and she's a little bit old, and she speaks with the accent. So of course she's going on a date with the butcher because the imagery of hearing butcher sounds like it's very, you know what I mean? I'm like, oh, whatever.
Eastern European, yeah.
But Devin. They have a duck, and his name is Gary. A duck. So now, here's a bunch of facts about this fucking
Speaking
duck.
of War on Terror and ducks, just kidding.
First off, the duck bites his ear in real life. They got the duck to bite his ear. They point a laser pointer at his ear, and the duck, like a cat, I guess, just bites his ear, which is funny.
Once again, I will say, at least you can have your opinions on Vin. Vin will put his body on the line. He's for Riddick, he's made his sockets in his shoulders pop out or whatever.
Right.
He's,
oh my god!
Gotten his eyes there got infected or some shit. And now he's taking duck bites. I feel like a duck could tear your ear off. I think they're strong.
Yeah. But
damn, that's dedicated.
This duck is a major holdover from the old writing staff. When Jackie Chan was attached, the main idea was that, I would assume Jackie Chan's version of the character was going to be very similar. Not great at being a babysitter, still very, military-esque or however, butting heads with the children. A running gag for this version of the film was that Jackie Chan was going to try to kill and cook the duck and have the kids eat it. But eventually he would be like, man, the kids really like this duck. So the duck just stayed because of they
I
kind of
like
the
this
duck.
better. I like the duck being just there in the background most of the film. I thought it was funny.
But like the duck is introduced like it's this wacky element, and then it just kind of fades away until the very end, right? So like in another universe, this duck was a running gag and all of it. So it's interesting, right? You can kind of see the threads there a bit. But I just like that like they don't actually know how to take care of the duck. The dad knew, and he's dead now. So, like, maybe just throw the duck outside. Just tell it
Drop
to
him
go
off
away.
at, like, the local pond or something. I'm sure he'll find
Right.
friends and figure it out.
He'll find something to fuck. Ducks always do that shit. So, after hearing about how they had a break-in a week ago, Wolf installs some security devices, and we get what is maybe the first ever Vin Diesel montage set to music. Have we had a montage with Vin Diesel before? Let alone set to upbeat. We're doing
like, I guess
things,
technically the
music.
montage of him putting his belt together there.
But that's not a montage. That's like seconds of time. This is like supposed to be hours of him doing various different things.
I think so.
Right?
Might have been. I don't know. If there was another one, it wasn't memorable, I guess. But yeah, I think so. But yeah, I like the idea of him putting all these traps. I kind of wish they showed him like putting a tripwire mine or something, like something crazy, like, and like maybe that's how they kill off the duck, because the duck sets off the trip mine and blows up.
Jesus.
But I don't think
And
Disney
just-
would have let that fly.
The duck explodes and you see it kind of like fly up in the air. Then it comes
Or like
down
it
as,
happens
a
in like
cooked
the
duck on a plate.
backyard, and like it's Vin Diesel like looking at the kids like talking to him, and like in the window behind him you just see explosion and then duck feathers rain down.
Oh, Jesus. I would actually, would even more funny if, or another way of doing that would be funny, rather, not saying that your idea is less funny than this one. You can see in the background, out a window, the duck just kind of waddling slowly, not in focus, and then it just explodes.
You just see dirt, and that's it. And maybe some blood
Yeah.
on the window. I don't know.
Julie leaves, and they all say goodbye. And as she is driven away, we get the creepy camera angle suggesting that they're being watched. It does the thing where the camera's in the bushes. Oh no, remember. As Wolf checks some equipments, he hears gunshots and a robot saying prepare to be annihilated. And he runs downstairs to see Lulu, the youngest girl, playing the PlayStation 1 version of Mortal Kombat Trilogy on a PlayStation 2. She's obviously playing as Motaro against Kintaro.
Yeah,
Obviously.
that was one critique I had, was I heard gunfire. I'm like, there's no goddamn guns.
Let alone a robot.
At least in those older Mortal Kombats, and it wasn't like the level of sounds that he was hearing. He was hearing like a goddamn war zone, and he goes down there and like he was playing Mortal Kombat. But weirdly enough, Mortal Kombat is everywhere in this film. So I wonder if like the director or someone
There was at the Chuck E. Cheese like place. There's a
and
thing
then there's
there.
another one at I've written it down somewhere. There was 3, I believe, Mortal Kombat things that I saw. So I just thought it was just interesting that it must have been like someone really liked Mortal Kombat and just wanted to put it in.
Maybe. Yeah, I mean Lulu later. That's the girl's name. Later climbs into the minivan with the nice, awesome red Game Boy Advance SP.
Yep, saw that.
So maybe she's playing. There's Mortal Kombat game on there. I'm sure. I'm sure it's not good, but it's on there. How do you do a 6-button fighter with 2 buttons?
You just get
and
punch
the
and kick.
shoulders, right? I think it was Street Fighter. I know did it. Maybe Mortal Kombat as well. On the Sega Genesis, you had to press select to swap between punches and kicks because the Sega Genesis only had 3 buttons.
Oh boy!
So you like press select to swap to kicks again. Try doing a combo like that. Yeah. Wolf looks around to see... Oh, yeah. Actually, a quick fun fact about Mortal Kombat Trilogy. The N64 version of that game, that is the only game on Nintendo 64 to not have any 3D anything in it. It's all sprites. The only sprite-based game. Only 2D game on Nintendo 64.
There you go. Fast fact.
Yeah. Wolf looks around to see pandemonium. Kids in fish tanks, ducks flying, etc. Creepy boys kind of peeking around corners, being punk-ass bitches, all etc. Zoe, the older girl, has a boyfriend that tries to break in, and no one knows any manners. It's like, the family's there. Why are you breaking in? Do you want the family to hate you?
Yes.
Do you want the mom to hate you? You knock on the door.
He's this classic boyfriend, dude.
I don't get it. The next morning at 6 a.m., Wolf Boot Camp wakes everyone up. No one respects him, and he makes them all put on tracking bracelets. And then this is like the one plot, I don't want to call it a plot hole, but like, there's obvious story reasons to have them on so they can, like, he can find and track them for obvious reasons. But it just feels like whenever the story decides that the kids need to take one off, they just do. So,
yeah.
Just doesn't seem like they're all that good. Somehow, the older son's, whose name is Seth, his bedroom door is locked even though no one is inside. Which is weird.
Was it locked, or did he just go in and kick the door?
He can't open the door. He tries
I thought
opening it.
He knocked on it and then just kicked it down. I will say, at least I really appreciated that. I don't know if you call it a stunt, but he really did fuck up that door real good. And that was pretty cool.
They break so many doors in this movie.
Yeah.
They must have been very thin. But yeah, no, he. And it's even Seth's like, what do you mean you can't fix it? It's in half. You broke the door in half. It split.
And then he's like, yeah, it's just a couple nails will fix this. And it's like, dude, you just destroyed that. You SWAT teamed that door.
That is one of the few instances where the kids did nothing wrong.
He literally went to the bathroom. Yeah.
He was just, now granted, my first question again is, how was the door locked? Because he does try the handle when no one's inside, but he did just break a door down. So whatever. So yeah, no one's in there. So the two older kids pour healthy amounts of vegetable oil on the wood stairs to get him to fall down and crack his head wide open.
Murder.
But instead, the
Literally
Romanian
murder.
housekeeper does instead. Yeah, they're trying to kill him. Those are, you get it?
Put poop in his pillow.
Do something to make him upset.
But not potentially murder him. That's fatal. If he hits his head right, I don't care how big you are,
right.
Your
skull doesn't have muscle to, you know what I mean? It's not like working out makes your skull harder. Meanwhile, in Switzerland, there's an issue with the safety deposit box, and they're going to be there for a few more days. And it's just so dumb. Tell us the password. Clearly you know, who she is. You have all that stuff. The U.S. government's there. Just, fucking give them the box. There's nukes on the line. We need to own the world.
Tell them we're going to use them nukes. We have to. Give us this thing.
But I do like that, they clearly have a piece of paper with the password on it because they look down whenever someone says, I'm like, just let me see the paper.
I'd be like,
you know
can you give me a hint? What? How many letters is it? Come on.
Yeah, and
Forgot
eventually
password?
it's just something's very stupid. But as Julie calls Wolf to tell him this, the Romanian housekeeper tries to quit, honestly, and Wolf beats her ass, but she gets away anyway.
At one point, I was worried that he was going to literally break her ankle. And how many times he dove to stop her? Yeah. Borderline assault,
her up, throwing her around. Yeah, but yeah, she took a taxi, so clearly she's been not driving to there and back again. So that's expensive. Wolf now has to take care of the house for an uncertain amount of days. Lulu asks Wolf about his boobs, and the next morning the kids are given MREs for breakfast. So you mentioned that earlier. One thing she does say to him is, "You're cute." And Vin Diesel or Wolf is like, "Thank you." Apparently, that little actress said that to Vin Diesel when they first met, and he didn't know what to say. And the writer, one of the writers, I guess, was like, "That's funny. We'll put that in there."
Oh, that's cute then.
I watched this on HBO Max, as you did as well.
Yeah,
because it was free. Obviously, they're on HBO Max. I use subtitles when I'm watching all these movies, because I want to make sure I got the line stuff for this. This is my angle for this. When she says this line, something like, "You have big boobs," or "How are your boobs so big," or whatever, I swear it said boots. BOOTS. And then when he says, "I don't have boobs," I'm like, wait a second. And I rewound this several times. And of course, the closed captioning was just now off, and it was like saying something, it was hanging onto a line that hadn't happened yet, waiting for the movie to catch up so it can pop up on screen. I'm like, fuck it. I don't know. I'm sure she said boobs.
Yeah, it's boobs.
Pecs.
All right.
Yes. But, yeah, so apparently Wolf can't cook. You can't cook anything? Where'd you get these MREs from?
You're a Navy SEAL. You're like half Boy Scout. Like, you gotta learn to cook rabbit or something. Like, just basic meat.
There's cereal in the... Like, they got stuff. You don't need to cook a steak or a chicken.
You know, like the trail mix or something. Like, even...
Dude,
don't know.
I don't like eggs. I know how to fry up some eggs. You know what I mean? It's simple.
I'm not a good cook at all, but based off what he says, I'm like, you're a Navy SEAL? Like, I actually would expect a Navy SEAL to be like, I can make something out of nothing. Because, like, I'm made to survive. I'm made to adapt.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're an amphibian.
You know, I guess the truth of the matter is, Devin, the military-industrial complex in the United States just pampers all these boys and girls and in making them feel superior. So
maybe that's
I don't know. I can never do it. I can never do it. So there's respect there. Wolf gets a call from the vice principal. The kids need to get to school ASAP. And this is actually interesting too because when I have closed captioning on, whenever anyone's speaking in a different language, closed captioning just says speaks in different language, unless the movie itself doesn't have subtitles for that part.
Yeah. Then
it actually says what they say, which is interesting. Here it just says like murmurs, male voice murmurs. I'm like, oh, I guess we're just not supposed to know what this says. But yeah, in any case, Wolf drives by Tokyo drifting a minivan and meets the principal, played by the shitty older brother on Everybody Loves Raymond. And I say shitty, I think this guy is actually shitty in real life. But I also hated whatever his fucking character's name was in Everybody Loves Raymond. His name is like Merman.
Yeah.
You know, whatever.
He's like the bad guy, one of the bad guys.
Weird. It's a, understandably so, live action Disney movie for kids, villain, school related kind of a thing. Like the over the top, way out of line principal type character. He's the vice principal, but the principal type character who's also a bit of a joke in the sense that he's an embarrassing shit, you know? Very, very weird. I couldn't tell if he was hitting on Vin Diesel at first and said he was trying to belittle him.
Yeah,
I guess.
I don't know.
Why? What's your angle?
There's some toxic masculinity going on.
I mean, yeah, for sure. That's what he's supposed to be. And I think it's even, this is 2005, but even back then, I can easily see this being obviously wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when he says later, boys will be boys. I get we're in a 2020 mindset right now, but even then, like, come on. You know what I mean? Like, that's still, to me, obvious even back in 2005. Like, no, you don't let kids beat the fuck out of each other for no reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah, isn't, we're not, like, gorillas. We're, like, you need to show who's top dog. Like, no one cares. This is school. We're all going to graduate and go our separate paths and never see half of us again. So
I mean, this is also, like, Seth is, what, maybe junior high? No, because
I thought he was like
because
freshman,
Zoe's she's driving, so clearly she's in high school. This is one of those weird schools where it's like 12 K through 12 is all in one building,
or at least 6 through 12, or 7 through 12, one of the two. I don't know if Maryland. I don't know.
Who cares? Oh, by the way, so when Vin Diesel gets the address to the house, that's the real address of the house.
Really?
On that piece of paper.
We should go there.
It's in Toronto, Canada, though.
It's not Bethesda, Maryland.
So, no.
God damn it. I still
I
want to
would
go to
be
the high
surprised
school,
if
though.
none of
the
it
high
was
school
filmed in Maryland.
Find the same bench that Vin fed the baby on. All right? I want to reenact that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wolf then meets the principal herself, and she's just like Wolf. She lets him stay at the school to watch the kids. And this is, again, more of that, like, military life, like, oh, like, look, like, you know, you can have a life after serving, you know, honorably discharged, blah, blah, blah. You know, you get to be a principal at a school, etc. Seth is getting beaten up by 6 kids, and Wolf goes to stop them. Merman is there, and he seems okay with it all. Turns out this guy sucks. Like, jeez. How pathetic do you have to be to have, like, the 7th grade bullies be your, like, groupies?
It's such a weird thing. Like,
you know what I mean?
I get it's kind of like a not a trope, but like this is something I've seen before in these like type of movies, and I just always find it so weird. I'm like, where'd that come from? Because like I've never seen that in growing up in high school. Like I never like and I've done
because
sports.
the person would get fired.
Yeah, like there's no I don't know. This is weird.
But you know, like just think about like how pathetic is this guy? You know what I mean? Like whatever. But yeah. The principal meets up with Wolf shortly after this, but their conversation is cut short when one of the tracking bracelets is going off on Wolf's GPS. He chases it down to a sewer. And this is disgusting. Like, they really do a good job of making it look like he's covered in shit. It's disgusting.
I mean, whatever he actually jumped into, it just
looked disgusting.
Looked gross.
I hope that was not a real sewer.
Well, it has been. I don't know.
Ugh. By the way, speaking about bodies of water, when they were doing the jet ski stuff at the beginning of the movie, it was just like a really large swimming pool that they were just doing it in.
Really?
That was not even like a lake.
That's pretty good then. They did a good job.
Very interesting. But weird. After showering, Wolf finds a bunch of Girl Scouts in his kitchen. Cool. No one wanted to tell him that you have Girl Scouts meetings like once every other day, whatever. He takes them to Costco, where a bunch of Boy Scouts wreck their cookie stand, and Wolf does nothing about it, which is kind of sucky and shitty of him.
But I knew that he was going to like at this point in the movie, I'm like, okay, I see where this is going. Obviously, that like here's all the shitty things that went wrong, and he's going to fix them later on.
Every kid has a problem.
He's going to fix it or do something for them. Yeah.
Lulu needs to learn how to stand up for herself. She's playing video games. Clearly, she's rad. She can stand up for herself. You know, this kid's probably gay, but he's trying to be manly because his dad wanted him to be manly. This girl sucks. She needs to learn how to drive. Who skips driver's ed classes? Don't you want to drive?
As a kid, school. Or not a kid, but like as a young teen, like I was scared to drive. At the same time, I was just like, I can go anywhere at any time.
Don't you want that?
Yeah.
Why would you skip driver's ed? Whatever. In any case, so it was kind of cute. Just like, oh yes, like, and again, like this is clearly trailer fodder here. Big tough military man now leads Girl Scouts. You know, that's one of those kinds of things. But it was kind of weirdly shocking that like he's like does not give a fuck about their cookie stand and just takes them like home. Like, okay, you at least can't like those Boy Scouts are still at the table. Like,
yeah,
didn't you pay for those?
Where
cookies?
are their parents?
Right.
Where's anyone's parents?
So then they go to Chuck E. Cheese's or whatever, and when they leave, they realize that he left a little boy behind. I think his name is Peter. Leaves Peter behind. Also, he still has a baby with him. I don't know what the baby's name is, but leaves it behind.
It was like Red Baby, I think he called him. Like
that's right.
Yeah, he still had like code words for everybody.
Yeah, which made me think of Star Wars. Gold leader.
I'm sure
Red leader.
Star Wars took it from actual military things.
A lot of old British white dudes in those original Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
When they finally make it home, there's a huge ass party. And Vin Diesel tells like the only black kid there to beat it. Did you notice that? There's a sea of white kids. There is a kid up on the second floor throwing a football down to someone down on the first floor. Vin Diesel catches it, turns, looks at the only black kid, I swear, and says, "Beat it." The black kid goes, "Okay."
I'm sure.
And just turns around. There was another black kid later. Like
he did crush that football though.
I'm sure it's like a dog toy football that's
Still
like very thin, but yeah,
it's cool.
He does his own stunts, guys.
Yep.
We
Then he
went
has
under
everyone
budget.
cleaning the place, and that one dude's like using a toothbrush on like the dining room table, and I thought that was funny.
Yeah. Wolf interrupts the party and gets the teenagers to clean the house, and in doing so, randomly finds a CD labeled Ghost. Cool. And then I guess all the kids leave because ninjas attack with like plastic sticks, floppy ass plastic sticks or something, and gets away after getting a comical beating. And this pissed me off. I had to take a step back. I had to pause this movie and like scroll through Twitter. I just wanted to see Vin Diesel grab one of them, throw them straight on the ground, and punch them in the fucking face. But they can't because this is a PG Disney movie.
This is
totally this fight scene. I don't think Vin Diesel carried this very well at all. And now knowing that Jackie Chan was supposed to be in this movie, Jackie Chan can make very funny martial arts fight scenes. He can make them funny. He can fight with a broom, barely do damage, but make it feel good and be funny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he's a physical comedian. He makes people laugh by getting hurt or hurting people. But fun fact, though, the two stunt doubles in those ninjas are from Jackie Chan's, like, troupe. Like, stunt group, yeah.
Oh.
So, like, those people still stayed. And they are not the same people that were the neighbors when they take the mask off. In this fight scene, those are Jackie Chan's, like, you know, stunt crew. So that's cool. And clearly we're meant to fight him and not Vin Diesel. But Vin Diesel's more of a, like, I'm just going to fucking punch the man
until
or lift him into the air and power slam him down. Like, that's just what I wanted.
Yeah, I get that. I will say, though, like, for the movie itself, though, like, I thought the fight scene was fun enough that I'm like, it got, at least for me, it got the job done. I liked some of the ideas they did with it. And, yeah, they get away, right? Or does he throw one of them
comically?
Yeah, they get out.
No, they just get away. And then this is where you call the cops, because now you know these people are in trouble. Like, you know what I mean? Now he knows for a fact that this family is being targeted. Ninjas broke into the house. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
call the
or
cops.
like, why isn't there more guards here or something then?
Yeah, now you need to step it up. Whatever.
If you're not moving them anywhere.
But at the very least, now the kids take this very seriously. But it turns out that CD wasn't a program. It was a Queen Latifah movie. Or not Queen Latifah. Whoopi Goldberg movie. Which I guess is called Ghost. I've never seen it. But
I've heard of the movie, but I didn't know too much about it.
Also, that was totally a CD, not a DVD. But whatever. You can store a video file on a CD. It's probably not very long or a very good quality. So I don't remember if it quickly hops to this or what, but the kids now take this seriously. But the next note I have is, it turns out Seth is like a Nazi or something, and this movie definitely hits different in the 2020s.
Yeah, when they're like, how did they show it again? It was
so he's in the principal's office. And Merman throws down the swastika armband and says, "We found this in his locker."
I was like, "What? Wait, whoa! Like, where is this? What the fuck?"
My brain jumped to, "Oh, the vice principal's planting this on him. What's he gonna do?"
That's
it's
what I
his
thought.
Word versus
and then
mine.
they showed later that he's meeting up with these kids, and I'm like,
Nazis.
I'm like, neo-Nazis up in here? Like, what? Disney? Like,
that is some coping shit. Your father died, and oh my god, no, it's a play. I get it. Maybe don't hang out in an alley wearing fucking Nazi gear. People are going to get the wrong impression of you kids.
Do you think if this movie came out today, like, that would be taken well?
Here's my question. I mean, to answer your question, no. Or at least it would have had different context to it, because no one really says anything about it. No one's like, all right, I'll find out Vin Diesel doesn't say, I'm going to find out what's up with this Nazi shit. He doesn't do that.
He just says, like, oh, he's not a Nazi. But, like, why is that in his locker?
He
like,
dyed his
don't
hair
even
blonde.
question, be like, wait, why is this in the locker? Like, why are you bringing in this shit to school? Is there something else going on
That's my
here?
question is, why did you bring this? Because, like, maybe there's a cut scene where he like, in order to make himself seem tougher for the wrestling thing he doesn't want to do, to maybe scare off some of the boys, maybe he brings it. You know what I mean? Be like, oh, I'm a tough
I'm an
crowd.
edgy teen,
right?
Yeah.
But yeah, totally hits different in 2020s. This is like the teenagers that look into this Nazi shit with an irony angle, or like the fucking edgelord shit, are either really, really pathetic, or like going through really hard shit, like maybe losing a dad type of a thing. Like, you know what I mean? This definitely hits different than just like, whoa, Nazis, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it took me like, I'm like, where did this turn to? I'm like, what the hell?
I was expecting like, wow. This
and once
movie
again,
got,
from
like,
a Walt
serious.
Disney film, that I was not expecting there to be any
Right.
sort of like, because I do believe that there's politics in almost everything, but like this is more political that we've seen from Disney, especially in a kids film, than I can know of. You know what I mean? Like more direct. They're like, oh yeah, swastika. Oh, by the way, isn't Walt Disney also the dude? Wasn't he like a Nazi sympathizer, or at least anti-Semitic? Yeah. So like, there's implications there.
That's for
you know
sure.
what I mean?
Yeah. But obviously, you know, Walt Disney is no longer the.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, it's just like the fact
company.
that it's a Walt Disney thing, and they're like, they even bother putting that in there because there might be some, you know, companies that might have like their CEO or whatnot from the past was involved with this sketchy thing or was involved in this bad thing, that they're not even going to try to like reference that, even if it's like, oh yeah, we've moved past that, or we don't agree with that. You don't want to mention it. Still, I just found it very interesting too in that regard. Is that like, man, we're not going to question this like more severely? Like Vin's like, oh, okay, like,
yeah, no, I'm with you there. In any case, Wolf has chased after Seth and finds out that he's in a play, and the Nazi thing was just costumes.
Sound of music.
But for a second there, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, this kid is coping hard. The director of the play quits. So Wolf takes over. And this is where I hate this angle. They don't show him doing anything. You know what I mean? They just want this part for the trailer where he's like, I've led military incursions. I have stopped coups in countries you're not allowed to know the names of. I can lead a play. Aha. You know, maybe it's more than what he bargained for type of trailer stuff. They don't really show him actually doing anything here. Like, yeah. And if they do, it's like really quick in this next montage, because we get a few more scenes of Wolf getting along with the kids more, kind of tugging at some of the threads of their personal problems, right? Including doing the Peter Panda dance, which the Romanian housekeeper did earlier. It's a stupid little dance. The kid doesn't want to go to sleep until he'll grow out of it.
But it winds up being referenced later on, and I actually thought that was neat. That like, oh, it wasn't just like some fun joke for kids. The
skinny ass nerdy dad is not able to do that dance, so they get past those traps. But sure,
I just like the idea of it, that like, oh, it was like this. He was so smart that he like made this dance for his kid, but it was really a password in a way, you know. And I thought that was. I thought that was cool. I was not expecting that. So when there's a lot more stuff in this movie that I was like, okay, I see where this is going. It's pretty easy to follow. And I was like, oh, I was not expecting that turn of events. I thought it was just here's a song for kids to like laugh at.
That is nonsensical, makes no sense. Yeah. Yeah. The vice principal, Merman, tries to bully Seth. And this is so like homophobic. It's just straight up homophobic. This kid was dancing to no music by the bleachers.
Yeah, I remember when they said that, I'm like, damn, that roast, dude. Like, chill. Like
so?
2005 roast right there.
I don't want him in my class like, all right, I quit wrestling because I don't give a fuck. Oh, you're pathetic. I don't care. I'm in a play. It's awesome. Oh, that's bad. Why? You know what I mean? Because this is 2005 homophobic kind of like, yeah, I get it. This guy is clearly obviously like the bad guy, but like just the angle is like it's trying to say like, oh yes, this kind of stuff can happen and it can be said and isn't totally out of the question. You know what I mean? Like, this is just weird. Like, it's not handled right. Like, that guy should be fired straight up. He tried to bully a kid.
There's a lot of times he should have been
basically
fired, or at least
basically calling him
reported
the F-word.
for harassment or whatnot. So yeah.
Yeah, and so anyway, the VP challenges a Wolf to wrestling thing, and Vin Diesel beats his ass. And this is where we get
he
the
challenged
points
him
at
earlier
camera.
in the film. He said nah, but then like this time around, he's like, Vin was the one who's like, so you wanted to fight, huh? Like meet me at this time. And they like how they advertise it to everyone in the school. Like they spent the time and energy to do that. I thought that was funny. They're like
handing a piece of paper that just says he's gonna get his ass beat.
Yeah.
Why can't you just say that to someone? That's not like there's no time or date on there. This is where we get the name of the movie, The Pacifier. Also weirdly, in the bleachers, someone in the background is holding up a sign that says John 3:16.
I saw that. I think it's just like, I don't know what that Bible quote is, but I've seen it all the time in sports. I think it's just like a sport thing.
It's one of those like he who believes succeeds type of thing.
Yeah, yeah. So I thought that was funny. I was like, yeah, I've definitely seen that shit like at WWE in the background or something like that. Like, or I've seen actual like football players, write that on their
it's very popular.
On their
sure.
what you call it, the marks they put on their face. I forgot what the word is for it, but
I don't know. I don't watch sports. Fuck sports. My team lost one game and I don't like it. We then get a montage of Wolf helping each kid with their own personal problems, and it ends with a heart-to-heart with Zoe. And I like this cool. I kind of liked it, and it really dawned on me that like he's gonna be able to connect with these kids because he also lost his dad. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, okay, cool, that's cool. Also, like, kind of throwing in there, like, hey, I didn't like being 8 years old and being sent to military school, but no, because Semper Fi, bro. So
yeah.
Whatever. But his dad dies. Their dad's dead too. Also, Peter calls him dad. It's very embarrassing. Like, oof. This kid forgot his own father. Yeesh. Julie and Wolf's boss finally get the safety deposit box open, and inside is a key. Serendipitously, Wolf finds a secret cellar and calls his boss to tell him that they found a vault. Wow.
Convenient.
This guy staked out this whole house and didn't find the cellar in their garage? What?
Yeah, it was in the garage, and I feel like it's something you would see at some point.
It's like a sewage grate.
Yeah.
Like when you're walking down the street, you know what I mean? It's one of those. The duck gets his foot stuck in it. That's how he sees. Are you kidding me?
It wasn't like a bookshelf thing where you pulled one item off the bookshelf and it opens the door. Like it was
exactly
a sewer gate.
Right. Like it's obvious. Yeah. It's not even hidden. Julie finally returns home, and it's a short, heartfelt scene, but it's cut short as the ninjas come back and the boss dude is with them. And this is where the movie falls apart. Like, really falls apart. Like, really falls apart. Like, we don't give a fuck anymore. We need to get this movie over with. Now there's conflict. I was legitimately not expecting any of this stuff to happen. I thought it was just going to be the vice principal's a jerk. And he wins. Vin Diesel wins over him. Yay, the kids are safe. They're respected in school.
And then the mom comes back and they're like, oh, we love him here or something.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just like fucking Mrs. Doubtfire. You know what I mean? The kids were the problem. Now they're the solution. The family is happy again, type of thing. But whatever. I did not like this part at all. One of those ninjas has the kids upstairs, and the other is with the boss and Julie in the cellar. Wolf is unconscious and not tied up.
Or not executed.
You
didn't bring stealth weapons, by the way, to this thing. Which was rule number one. If you're going to keep people hostage, or be like, if you're fighting Navy SEALs, I'm assuming you're going to take them out. Like, you're in the military. I'm assuming like, hey, let's hook us up with like some stealth guns that no one can hear in this suburban neighborhood.
Right. Okay, exactly. Oh yeah, this scientist father is so rich, but yet they live there. Whatever. But I was paying attention. Not a single gun was fired in this movie. Not a single gun was fired.
Mines
in
were
this movie.
thrown.
Yeah, and a helicopter was cut in half, but no one fired any guns. Whatever. The kids break free pretty easily and get Wolf up, and the kids drive away so they can have a car chase, which is so unrealistic that they would you, Devin, ram someone with a car? You know what I mean? I don't know. It just felt like such a leap. Oh yeah, we're gonna do the action movie thing where we hit, whatever. Meanwhile, Wolf just walks downstairs and offers to help them get through the traps if they let the family go. They don't even they didn't tie him up. Whatever. Again, this is just shit ending. And they just needed to speed through this stuff. They had stuff down, and again, I'm thinking back now. They probably built this set for these traps when Jackie Chan was still attached to this film. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about all this kinds of stuff now. They clearly rushed it because they're like, well, we'll just have the military babysitter angle for most of this movie now. In any case, he does the Peter Panda dance to get past all the traps and then beats the two bad guys up.
And they get the thumb drive or whatever.
The magic cube.
Magic cube. I don't even remember what it was.
I don't know, whatever. It just needed to be a thing that looked cool because they weren't going to use it, obviously. The kids get a bunch of cops to chase them back to the house, and the bad guy that was just chasing them holds them all up with a very cool looking rifle that is totally a Metal Gear Solid 5, decked out with 7 different attachments. I can hear all the clicky things as he flicks certain levers on. It looked a very cool gun.
Never pulls the trigger.
Nope. The duck bites his balls.
And somehow, once again, doesn't pull the trigger, but kids movie.
Everyone is safe now, and Wolf and the principal kiss for some reason. The end.
There was sexual tension from the beginning with them.
Very weird.
I thought.
Very weird.
So I wasn't totally off guard, but
to me it was.
Well, they didn't kiss; they were about to, and then the little girl came and was
then they kiss anyway.
Do they? I thought it was later on they kissed.
No, but this movie ends with the play, and the last scene is the vice principal just waving because I guess it's funny.
Yeah, I was like, this is such a weird ending. I did not. They could have just ended with them bowing on the stage, or everyone laughing or clapping,
or just the family being together.
Yeah,
I felt like we didn't actually get that shot really of the family being together. The kids each have their thing of I'm gonna miss you because you're not gonna be my new daddy. You know what I mean? Instead, he's working at the school now or something, which cool for him. He's given up the military life, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know how much he learned in this movie, but again, was that really the purpose of this movie? No. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kids like to see other real-life kids do some wacky shit and get away with things that they can't do in real life. That's why there are so many live-action Disney sitcoms starring kids being obnoxious. You know what I mean? Kids love that kind of shit. So that's all this movie needed to be. In any case, that was The Pacifier. I did all the trivia except this one little bit. In Peter's room, he's the young little kid. I'm not sure if this was in every single scene, but this was definitely in one scene. He has building blocks. They spell out One Race at one point.
Oh, there you go.
Vin Diesel's production company. So that's cool. A little Vin Diesel Easter egg there.
There you go.
For anyone that cares. I like that. That's cool. So
spells out Riddick.
That would be fucking awesome. If it spelled out Riddick
instead of One Race. But it'd be such a long thing. It'd be too obvious. A good Easter egg has to be super, just one square in a big rectangle or a big frame. Not it have to be the whole screen where it just says Riddick. But I think that still would have been funny. It says Riddick, Escape from Butcher Bay in blocks. That's
what you know. What if she, instead of playing the PlayStation 2 Mortal Kombat game, or was a PS1 game on a PlayStation 2, if she was playing Butcher Bay on an Xbox, that would have made my day. That would have been great. I would have loved that.
Yeah, that time would be a flat circle.
You know what I mean? Because Vin Diesel at this point was a name. That's why this was a funny thing. We're going to get Vin Diesel to be, you know what I mean? So you can reference Vin Diesel in this. That's fair game. So they should have done that, in my opinion. Before we get any deeper, let's talk about the movie as a whole, what we liked and didn't like about it. So after we recap a Vin Diesel movie or thing or whatever, we rank it twice. We rank it on the merits of being a movie. How well was this movie? How good was this movie? And how well done was Vin Diesel's performance in the movie or game or whatever. So we're going to go on the movie alone. I'm going to say what our ranking list is. We'll talk about where we think this might go. So number 1 on our movie ranking list. This is either devoid of Vin Diesel or because of Vin Diesel or a part of Vin Diesel, but just the movie, right?
Yep.
Number 1, Saving Private Ryan. Yes, he was in that movie. Number 2, Triple X. Number 3, The Fast and the Furious. Number 4, The Iron Giant. Number 5, Awakenings. 6, A Man Apart. 7, Boiler Room. 8, The Chronicles of Riddick. 9, Pitch Black. 10, Knockaround Guys. Number 11, The Chronicles of Riddick Escape from Butcher Bay. Number 12, Multifacial. Number 13, The Chronicles of Riddick Dark Fury. And number 14, Strays. So, I'm going to put this right out there. I thought this movie was fun. I thought it was inoffensive in the sense that there's nothing really that I'm like, oh, this is bad. You know what I mean? Like, this was a solid, fun time. It wasn't a great movie. I feel like it fell apart and rushed things so quick at the end. But everything leading up to that, I liked it. I liked it. And yeah, it was good. It was okay. It was all right.
I don't get the whole like this is a stinker for Vin Diesel. I don't like I thought the movie was, like you said, wasn't good, but like I had fun, and that's important for this kind of movie.
Knowing
a
that
comedy
this is
movie.
a Disney movie makes sense. It puts it in a different light for me. This is not a Will Ferrell comedy. You know what I mean? This is a Disney comedy. There's a different distinction there.
Yeah, and it felt like a Disney comedy the entire time, like the humor and like you said, the plot fell apart at times, but like it doesn't matter because the kids don't care. You know, and the parents are gonna be like, even if I'm a parent, be like, oh well, that just makes sense, but whatever. My kid doesn't care as long as they're having fun, they're laughing, and as long as I'm having fun too. I guess that's what matters. And I wasn't watching it with kids, and I felt like it was fun. I actually enjoyed my hour and a half with it, I guess.
Yeah. I enjoyed the fact that it was an hour and a half too.
Exactly.
Keep this in mind, this movie they could have decided to put an extra half an hour of content in here. You know what I mean? Instead, I feel like they trimmed it very well. I kind of do wish there was more substance to the montages of him solving their problems instead of just, because there was a lot of they have problems and like now they're kind of set. So, but we got montages of it, but I wish there was more thought into those scenes. But I do appreciate that the movie was an hour and a half. I don't necessarily know if I would have wanted what I just said at the price of it being 2 hours.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would have wanted that. I think this is fine. So,
I think it's very dated, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing, but like the less likely you're probably going to show it to. If we have kids in the next 5 years, I'm probably not going to show them this movie. I'll probably just show them with something in the last 5 years or something that is more universal. Like this has a lot of just early 2000s energy where it's like, I don't know if every kid would find this entertaining.
Is very disposable. Right.
So like, I feel like we might have appreciated some stuff, and then maybe like a kid nowadays wouldn't get. Like no one's on their phones in these movies. Like no one's on an iPad. Like someone's playing a video game. That's the closest thing. But like a kid born in 2020 and will be, in 5 years from now, be 5-6 years old. They probably won't be able to connect to these kids. I understand you're not supposed to connect to the kid.
That none of the scenes required those. Though.
I'm just saying, I'm just saying, like, we see a lot of that kind of humor now because that's stuff that we have now. Like this is like kids aren't going to know what the hell that Mortal Kombat is. They'll just think it's whatever, like the average kid. Not saying like they can't enjoy it, but I just think there's more to it since we grew up in that time. And what was that? 2005. We would have been 10 years old, so it's like,
Yeah.
if I saw this back then, I probably would have enjoyed it generally and thought it was stupid. So, no, I kind of go back and forth of like how great this movie is or anything, or not great, but just good. I think it has some good aspects, but I also think it has some bad. And that's why I think this movie is just average, but I also don't think it's as bad as people have said. Like when people are like, ugh, the Pacifier is trash, or like I've heard bad things. I'm like, I don't get that at all. I've seen much worse family comedy films that I find annoying to sit through. This I actually was like, okay, this is fun.
And that's a very important quality of a movie like this. Is it obnoxious to sit through? And like, like no movie wants to be bad. No movie wants to like have someone be like, ugh, how palatable is this? Or is this shit? No movie wants to be that. But like, there are plenty of movies just like this that I'm like, why does my kid want to see this? Fine, I'll just sit here and watch it. Like, ugh. Like, this movie didn't feel like it was dragging, partially because it was an hour and a half, but because it was going at a pretty quick pace, and Vin Diesel himself carried a lot. It didn't feel, you know what I mean? Like, the children are over the top, but like no one was bad in the movie. So I'm just going to throw it out there. I don't have this at the very end, but I don't have this too high up either. Personally, I think this would be a good fit for number 11. So this is underneath Knockaround Guys and right above Butcher Bay. So basically right before the not good stuff. But underneath, like, Knockaround Guys, I don't know. I could even argue that this is better than Knockaround Guys, because I don't know. That movie was good.
I just like Knockaround Guys a little bit more, just I think because it's more my taste of a silly plot and some funny moments, like more adult funny moments. I guess like because I'm a 25-year-old person, I just will probably tend to go, like, I'm not going to watch The Pacifier probably ever again unless I had kids, and maybe honestly, like I said earlier, I don't know if I would even show them it because of how
it's disposable. This movie is just,
it's dated at this point.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I kind of agree with you though. It's like not. It's like at the above of like the.
Like this movie isn't bad.
Yeah. So I feel like it's
not bad.
And I know Knockaround Guys is kind of like, this is where it is all right.
Like, it teeters.
Yeah.
Knockaround Guys gets bad, but it also gets interesting. You know what I mean? So, like, it teeters on it a bit. And this movie is just all right the whole time. It's inoffensive. It works. Until the very end, where it gets rushed and is, like, just, like, whatever, let's finish this movie. So, yeah,
is it better than... Because, like, Knockaround Guys is maybe, and, like, now I'm looking at the list again, I'm like, is Pitch Black really, like, Pitch Black? I remember Pitch Black and Knockaround Guys were kind of like, I remember we were kind of like 50-50 on it. Like, is it better than Pitch Black?
I definitely think Pitch Black is better than Knockaround Guys.
I just want to make sure, because I feel like if
we're
it
not
was...
changing what we
I know we're not.
have.
I know we're not, but I'm just saying, like...
We're stuck with this.
If it's better than this, then I think it just would naturally have to go above it. But I kind of agree with you that I think it should be right below Knockaround Guys.
Okay, works for me. The Pacifier is now at number 11, so the list is as follows officially. Number 1, Saving Private Ryan. 2, Triple X. 3, The Fast and the Furious. Number 4, The Iron Giant. 5, Awakenings. 6, A Man Apart. 7, Boiler Room. 8, The Chronicles of Riddick. 9, Pitch Black. 10, Knockaround Guys. 11, The Pacifier. 12, The Chronicles of Riddick, Escape from Butcher Bay. 13, Multifacial. 14, The Chronicles of Riddick, Dark Fury. And 15, Strays. So, that's for the movies.
Yep.
As, you know, as a part of just what the movies are. Now let's talk about Vin Diesel's performance in these films. The ranking so far is as follows. Number 1, Triple X. Number 2, The Fast and the Furious. Number 3, A Man Apart. Number 4, The Chronicles of Riddick. Number 5, Boiler Room. Number 6, Multifacial. 7, Pitch Black. 8, Knockaround Guys. 9, Strays. 10, The Chronicles of Riddick, Dark Fury. Number 11, The Iron Giant. Number 12, Saving Private Ryan. Number 13, The Chronicles of Riddick: Escape from Butcher Bay. And number 14, Awakenings. I will throw this out there right now. I enjoyed him in this movie. I thought he hit his comedic bits the way he needed to. I think he had a good showing of the surprised at the mundane babysitter life kind of look.
He also had charm, like throughout the film. Like,
yeah,
he showed that he had charisma, okay, these kids aren't as bad as they are. And then he turned into his family is everything kind of vibe that he brings.
It worked.
Yeah, it worked. And he was the main guy on the film. And I know in the past we've kind of talked about that. Like, the expectations are different based off if he's the headline. Is he the headliner? Is he the lead? Or is he just a side character? And he is the headliner, and I think he was the best actor in this.
Oh, for sure.
You know, it wasn't really close. Not saying anyone else was necessarily bad, but just like he held his weight in more. I think
This is obviously a Vin Diesel movie, and there are other characters here for sure. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what else really much to say. Like just like how the movie is. You know, he was, good, solid, consistent. It was everything. I would not have asked for anything different, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I was wowed or blown away.
I mean, this was the first comedy we saw him in, and I feel like he did a good job.
He wasn't necessarily cracking jokes, but his role in this movie was to have the jokes cracked on him and how he reacts to them, and it's funny. So, I mean, my kind of ballpark for this is in the upper echelon.
I'm saying top 5.
I can easily see that as well. I think, honestly, is this better or worse than The Chronicles of Riddick, which we have at number 4? I think this is better than Boiler Room, is his performance in it.
Yeah.
Do we think this is better than The Chronicles of Riddick? I, honest to God, want to say yes.
I do too, because one, The Chronicles of Riddick, it isn't his fault, but the character isn't that interesting. Likeable.
He's an anti-hero, I get it, but you root for an anti-hero because there's just a quality about
but it's
person.
like, how did he portray that? He did a good job because we're mad at it. You know what I mean? So, I think that's why that ranking is high. But at the same time, I feel like he wasn't the headliner in that, and he stole the show, so that's why it's up there as well.
Well, no, that's Pitch Black. He wasn't the headliner.
Sorry. Yep. Okay, never mind.
But
I keep getting him confused.
This was a major movie for him. Chronicles of Riddick was a major movie for him. He had a bunch of many scenes doing different things. There was a variety, and he was good in it. We just didn't care for the character, so that's why we had it up there.
I think it is higher just because this is different for him, and I liked it. I'm like, do I prefer maybe comedy Vin over Chronicles of Riddick Vin, because
100%.
The character's not necessarily it is more likable, I guess, but just I think he does a better job of reacting to other people. In Chronicles of Riddick, he's just super serious all the time, and there's no range really being shown. There's no emotions besides anger.
He does do a little bit of Riddick in this movie. There's a couple points where he has the, very wise sage, I knew exactly what you were supposed to do, or here's how you fucked up. You know what I mean? Kind of commentating, but it works when he punches up. You know what I mean? So it was brief and it worked. So now my question is, A Man Apart? I don't know. To me, this is the kind of, now we're really asking deep, hard questions, and I don't know if I can commit to better than A Man Apart.
Man Apart, he showed sorrow. He showed revenge. He showed fun. Because there's some comedy in that too, and he does a good job in that. So I guess when I say this is first family comedy, and then this is he's done
this is a
funny
comedy
parts.
Movie. Just period. But yeah.
I don't know. I think A Man Apart's is more of a complete project. There's more diverse things he brings to the table, and I think it helps though that movie is probably much better made. But Yeah, I can't put it above A Man Apart. Chronicles of Riddick is.
I think
good,
I think
but
we're in agreement. So the list again is as follows with the Pacifier in its proper place: number 1, Triple X; number 2, The Fast and the Furious; number 3, A Man Apart; number 4, The Pacifier; 5, The Chronicles of Riddick; 6, Boiler Room; 7, Multifacial; 8, Pitch Black; 9, Knockaround Guys; 10, Strays; 11, The Chronicles of Riddick Dark Fury; 12, The Iron Giant; 13, Saving Private Ryan; 14, The Chronicles of Riddick Escape from Butcher Bay; and 15, Awakenings. And again, if you want to know our opinions or full thoughts on these other movies, check out the other episodes. We go in obviously way more depth over there. I think this is a pretty good list we got going here. And how funny is it that Pacifier is so low in our movie rankings, but so high in our Vin Diesel performance rankings?
I was gonna say, is that kind of a first? I mean, Iron Giant's 4 in movie, or is it?
It's 4th from the top for movie rankings and 4th from the bottom in Vin Diesel rankings.
So I guess it's happened before.
Saving Private Ryan is number 1 in movie rankings, second, third.
This is basically the opposite of the Iron Giant, where the movie isn't good, but Vin was great in it.
Yeah.
So
on the Vin Diesel scale, Pacifier was good.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah. And there's more obviously to come for Vin Diesel as we kick off another full year of the Chronicles of Diesel.
Season 2.
A great podcast. That one that you should tell all your friends, all your family members. Maybe you are also babysitting. Throw this on for the kids. You can find the show on a variety of podcast services like Spotify and Apple, as well as our YouTube companion videos for it. Make sure you go ahead and follow the show on Twitter at Sonic Movie Show, because we also do a podcast called The Sonic Movie Show, where we review video game movies, talk about Sonic movie news, Sonic the Hedgehog game news, as well as other random movie entertainment news and topics. Fun stuff. It's on this very feed, the same places I said. But anyway, follow the show at Sonic Movie Show and let us know what you thought about the Pacifier. Tweet at me at Ethan Absolutely if you agree with me that the poop looked disgusting on Vin Diesel, and tweet at Devin at CURSONA YouTube if you also loved the Pacifier as much as he did. We'll see you next month for another movie I have no idea what it's about, called Find Me Guilty.
Oh boy!
So be sure to watch that.
Are we going to
for April 1st?
The judge's block? Are we gonna see you in court?
I think it's like A Man Apart in that kind of sense.
Okay.
Maybe.
We'll see.
I don't know, that's like vibe I get from it. But we'll see you April 1st for another episode of the Chronicles of Diesel.
Bye.
What is it with you? What do you got, a death wish or something?
That's what it takes. I just want to race. Ride or die, remember?